Welcome to Teotihuacán, one of the largest pre-Hispanic civilizations in the Americas. It remains unknown exactly who built this empire, but it's thought that the city was developed between the 1st and 7th centuries AD. It wasn't until about 1,000 years later that it was discovered by the Aztecs, who gave it the name we know it by today, Teotihuacán, which means the place where the gods were created. So this was believed to be the main city center, maybe where their marketplace was. It's really pretty big. And what's left of this up ahead is supposed to be their citadel. Today, it's known for 3 pyramids, including this one, the Pyramid of Quetzalcoatl, as well as for 2 other pyramids, which happen to be 2 of the largest pyramids in the world, the Pyramid of the Sun and the Moon, which are both connected by a 1.5-mile walkway that's now called the Avenue of the Dead. Here you can see the restored remains of the Pyramid of Quetzalcoatl, or the Feathered Serpent, which is depicted in the sculpture heads with the ring of feathers around it. There is some debate over which god is depicted on the other sculpture head. Despite this, it's thought that this pyramid was associated with warfare and human sacrifice, as many bodies were discovered here. Heading back down. It's really amazing how big this place is. We keep going over steps, coming up to the top, and feeling like we're not getting any closer to these pyramids up ahead.
Been noticing some of the drainage structures are still intact. Here's one of them, and we had a big rain yesterday, so you can see how the water flowed. It looks like this whole field slopes downhill, and there's another port just like that at that next section of stairs down there. In areas where it's more flat, it's actually a buried concrete structure, so they definitely had some rain when the city was here because they have ways to get rid of it. You can tell they've really done a lot of work to try to preserve some of these structures. One of the things that really gives it away is you can tell where the grout is new in between the rocks. I've got a section of redone grout right in front of me. I'll show you. The newer grout is much more white than the original grout. I'll show you the original grout whenever we find a section that hasn't been reworked yet. It would have been a rough day if you were trying to come through here yesterday when it was raining hard. See, a lot of the grass has been washed up to this second step, so I'm sure it was like a river coming through this area trying to get to this one culvert. In some of these stairs here, you can see where there's some of the original grout. It's got moss and other things growing on it.
That thing's massive.
Standing next to this pyramid makes it feel especially massive. The pyramid itself is actually 213 feet high. To construct it, they used about 1 million cubic yards of stone, which from looking at it, it looks like it's mostly volcanic stone, and their grout was a limestone and sand mixture. These structures along the side that almost look like big stairs were used to prevent any slippage and help stabilize the rock wall as they went higher.
See the Pyramid of the Sun back behind me. I'll show you just how big it is. It's really impressive. As of now, you can't walk up the pyramid. Although that would be a lot of stairs. I think that pyramid we walked up before It was only to that first little tier of stairs where the railing was. I can't imagine going to the top. Apparently, back in the day, there was a really elaborate temple that was built on top as well. So even more stairs, probably. So over there is the Pyramid of the Sun we were just at. And down there is the Pyramid of the Moon. This walkway over towards the Pyramid of the Moon is known as the Avenue of the Dead. So here's another vantage point. Here's the Pyramid of the Moon. And if you turn and look behind you, there's the Pyramid of the Sun over there. And that is the Avenue of the Dead. These buildings are thought to be temples, and since they all face the interior, it's thought that maybe they were used to control the flow of people through here, because it's thought that they had religious ceremonies over here. But who knows for sure. If you've noticed some interesting background noise, it may be the sound of fireworks and noisemakers. Many vendors here sell noisemakers that sound like jaguars and birds.
This is the area of Teotihuacán where the high rollers lived.
So in here they've got a little museum with a lot of the original murals that they found in the area. It's believed that a lot of the walls were painted with murals. They had quite the view over here. Archaeologists have been studying Teotihuacán since the late 1800s, but there's actually still so much of the civilization that remains unknown, largely because they didn't have a written language. But artifacts found suggest that these were people of art and culture, and they were very ambitious, with lots of military power and great influence both near and far. It's believed that Teotihuacán controlled the mining and production of green obsidian, a rare type of obsidian that's associated with this region of central Mexico. In fact, Teotihuacán's green obsidian has been found in Mayan territories as far south as Tikal in Guatemala, which is over 700 miles away. It's still a mystery what happened to the people of Teotihuacán, why their civilization collapsed, and why the city was abandoned. It's believed that many of the city's important buildings, as well as murals and sculptures, were burned around the year 600 AD, and that the city was fully abandoned by 750 AD. But research continues, so perhaps one day we'll know more. If you liked this video, let us know by liking and subscribing. And don't forget, you can see more of the journey on Instagram and TikTok. Cheers, friends!